button here. Alrighty. So for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Tina Dowd, and I am the owner of Vacations for Canadians. So tonight we are hosting this event with Hillary Brown of Avalon Waterways. For those of you that may be unfamiliar, it's a fantastic river cruise line. And they just announced a few months ago that they were going to be sailing in the Douro, which is a river in Portugal. So for me, that was a bucket list times 2. I've always wanted to go to Portugal. I haven't been yet, and I've always wanted to sail on the Douro. So I immediately contacted Avalon, set up this webinar, and set up a group that I'll talk to you a little bit about at the end. But I wanted to thank Hillary for being here tonight, and she is going to take us down the Douro River. So Hillary.
Thank you, Tina. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining, allowing me to join you tonight. Yes, my name is Hillary Brown. I'm the Business Development Manager with the Globus family of brands. Tina was mentioning Avalon Waterways. We are part of the Globus family of brands. We've been around for 95 years. Globus is our first-class coach touring company. Cosmos is our value pack coach touring. And then, of course, we have River Cruising, Avalon Waterways. We're the youngest fleet on the water. Our average age is 8 years, and we do not refurbish our ships, nor do we rebuild our ships. So as Tina had mentioned, she has a group booked with us. We just launched this last month, and the departures are from April till November for 2024. And then we're just going to, as Tina had mentioned, we're going to go and down the Douro, show the itinerary that Tina has booked with us. And I'd like you all to enjoy it. So rather than looking at me presenting the whole time, I am going to turn off my my video here, but you'll still be able to see my screen. So again, thank you for joining me on behalf of Avalon Waterways. The Douro weaves through one of Europe's most striking natural regions, sun-drenched vineyards, charming villages, and historical landmarks pepper the banks of the river, breaking up the sloping fertile lands and providing a rustic backdrop for your river journey. Before reaching the Atlantic, the Douro splits the ancient city of Porto, a place steeped in the maritime heritage for which Portugal is known. It could be said that Portugal owes its very extents to the river around which the country was founded thousands of years ago. So the river flows actually past the Douro Valley, known as a viticultural grape producing area of Porto since the 18th century. Port wine has been produced for the local and export markets. This made the Douro River an important waterway where port wine is transferred to stored as an export. So again, we are part of the Globus family of brands, Avalon Waterways, and just recently, we've just launched, as Tina and I have mentioned, my screen just paused there for one moment, here we go, is the Avalon Alegria. When it comes to Avalon Waterways, we are a 3-to-1 guest ratio on all our ships, and the great thing about Avalon Waterways is that we build it that we have more space on our ships and less passengers on our ships. We have 51 staterooms on this ship for 102 guests, 37 panorama suites, 14 Avalon Deluxe staterooms. And again, this ship is built for the Douro River. So we're very, very excited to share the new ship, the Avalon Alegria. And of course, we're going to go into a little bit more about Avalon and then the day-by-day itinerary. And when it comes to Avalon Waterways, smaller ships, bigger experiences, and fewer people. On our Europe ships, our average is 150 passengers. What we've done is that with river cruising, Avalon Waterways has pushed the walls out to have larger staterooms. You got to remember that when it comes to river cruising, the ships are built for the locks and the bridges. So what Avalon Waterways has done for Europe is we've pushed the walls out to have larger staterooms, 200 square foot staterooms, and 11 by 7 open air balcony, really letting the outside in. More space allows us to have less passengers on board as well. So again, we are the part of the award-winning sweet ships, crowd pleasing. It's not in our vocabulary. In fact, we don't like crowds. Instead, Avalon's really modern ships is best in class ships, as I mentioned, is an average of 150 passengers and even less. For example, the new ship that we have on the Douro is 51 staterooms, and on the Mekong is 18 staterooms, 36 passengers. So really gives you, the cruisers, the space, the time, and the attention that you deserve on a vacation. Again, what happens with the bigger stateroom? There's more room to enjoy, relax, view in the stateroom. As I said, beds facing the view, 30% fewer people on board. So again, less passengers, more room to relax, common areas, lounge, dining, sky deck experience is more relaxed. And then again, you as the guest can really be accommodated comfortably at the same time in our panorama lounge and our sky deck as well. So when it comes to our ships, again, better by design, it just doesn't get any sweeter than Avalon Waterways. On board Avalon Waterways sweet ships, guests really get to enjoy the perfect blend of elegance and ease, where little touches are bold, gestures and grand. The views are even grander. As I mentioned, the bed facing the view. As I also mentioned, with Europe, our average size is 150 square feet, and compared to the others, which is 135 square feet. And again, larger staterooms, less passengers on board as well. So we really want you to feel home away from home with our epic views throughout the ship, the sky deck with the pool and premium lounges, covered observation lounge, and we have an adventure center, fitness center, complimentary Wi-Fi, Lavazza coffee on board as well, premium drinks, and again, Avalon Flex dining as well when it comes to Avalon Waterways. The other wonderful feature about Avalon Waterways is that every day includes a city tour that is included, and you have a choice. You have a choice of a classic, a discovery, and an active. Your classic is your must-see site. Discovering, for example, on Europe, and we'll go through a few of these examples throughout your day-by-day itinerary as well. But discover maybe more engaging, more hands-on, learning to paint a Van Gogh or a Monet, learning how to make schnitzel in Vienna, potato salad, strudel, all at the same time enjoying wine. And then our actives doesn't mean you need to be active. Maybe you want to, canoe down the Danube, paddle down the Rhine, go for a bicycle tour, a jogging tour. Again, maybe you want to make Belgium chocolates in Belgium. These are all the wonderful activities that we have with Avalon Waterways. And again, these choices are included. So Vida, Portugal, welcome to Portugal. Hello, Portugal. The itinerary that we have chosen is vineyards and villages along the Douro with an extension, a pre-extension in Lisbon. So this itinerary is starting in Lisbon for 3 nights and then doing our river cruise down the Porto for 8 days, Porto to Porto. So while it's not exactly in the forgotten corner of Europe, Portugal's Douro rivers does tend to be off the beaten river cruising track in comparison to the popular Rhine, the Danube, the Rhone. Yet a week spent cruising on the Douro is full of unforgettable experience that may surprise those unfamiliar with this region. We're really finding, and I really hate to bring up the pandemic, but we're finding that a lot of passengers are really looking at more exotic destinations. And as Tina was mentioning, that's why one of the reasons she's booked this itinerary is she's excited to go down the Douro as well. So again, the Douro is also known for having some of the deepest locks. We're talking about the ships built for the locks throughout compared to in Europe, and passing through one in a cruise highlight. Passengers will actually gather on deck to witness a spectacle. The transit is not for, just the closed-minded. It really lets you explore and see what's out there. When you're at the lowest point, 30 meters below the next level of the river, the dark slime covered walls really close to you, but for the technically minded, the locks are absolutely fascinating pieces of engineering. As the entrance to them and the exit to them, the Douro is the fast flowing river, and captains need enormous skills to really line the ship up through those locks entrances as well. So let's just take your day-by-day itinerary. So day one, this is when you're going to arrive in arrive in Lisbon. So welcome to Lisbon. And this is where you're really going to take that free time to explore on your own. Breakfast will be included here. But again, this is where you really just want to go off, do your own thing. You may be tired, you want to go take a nap. Maybe there's, something on one of your lists that we're not including, and I'll talk about that a little bit further. We are not that we don't include, we do include, but there may be that shop you want to go to or go get that wine. And we're mentioning Lisbon and Portugal is all about the port of the wine, right? So again, if there's anywhere that you want to go see. Day two is where we're going to start the itinerary, the day-by-day experience with this itinerary. And here we're actually going to have, this is where we're talking about the classic, discovery, and active excursions. This is where we're going to have a classic excursion, really exploring Lisbon, the Portugal's capital, with a local guide. We do not want you to miss the must-see sites. So this is where we're going to include the Belém Tower and the Monument of Discoveries. And then in the evening, you might want to join an optional excursion, including a traditional Portuguese dinner, followed by a live concert of traditional Portuguese fado music. And again, this is where breakfast would be included for this day as well. So as I said, every day includes a city tour with the must-see sites. Day three, we're going to have another classic excursion included, and this is where we're going to visit the magnificent National Palace of Mafra. This is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The complex, which includes the Royal Palace, the Basilica, and the convent, is the most important monument to Baroque architecture in Portugal. You might again go off and opt for an afternoon optional gastronomic walking tour to learn about the authentic flavors, the aromas, and the traditions of Portugal. On day four, this is where we're going to stop in Coimbra for a guided sightseeing tour, and it's going to be accompanied, again, every day includes a local guide to take you to the must-see site. You're really going to explore the historical area of the city and learn all about the oldest university in Portugal, and one of the oldest in the world is once we've done that, then we're going to transfer you to Porto on board your Avalon ship, your sweet ship, which is the Avalon Alegria. And here you're going to enjoy dinner and explore the ship at your first night on board. And this evening, we're actually going to overnight in Porto. Now, once on board, just to let you know as well, is breakfast, lunches, and dinners are all included. Wine and beer is included with lunch as well. So on day five, the Portuguese panorama, shall we say, we're going to visit the Adventure Center on board for today's activities and with your adventure host. Now, just to let you know, with the adventure host, we have our cruise director, but we also have an adventure host there. We'll do yoga classes, Zumba classes. Again, put something together if you want to go off and take a bicycle tour, really go off and explore. They can put something together. They also, he or she will come with you on some of the active excursions as well. So definitely have a visit with your adventure center. And this is where you're actually going to have today, we're going to have two choices. We're going to have our discovery excursion choice, and we're going to have our classic. So you really can either take that discovery, step back into time within the walls of the interpretation center of the Romanesque with the fascinating introduction to its symbolism and architecture. Enjoy an excursion with an exclusive visit to one of the most iconic monasteries of the Romanesque era with the entrance of the 13th century church, and be enchanted by sounds of the Georgian chant from the high choir. Or you can take a classic option, which this will allow you to enter a world of Celtic history, and the reign of the Caesar Augustus, where 5 roads diverged to form an empire, with a full day guided tour of Braga, and marvel at the magnificent castle of San Miguel Church in Guimarães, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Celebrate your experience with a stop of one of the area's many wine farms and enjoy the tasting, of course. And of course, we'll also be able to sample green wine and famous pastries with stops en route to Regua. So again, green wine. I mean, I've made these notes for me to remember, but as I'm saying it to you out loud as well, like, you know, like whoever, when you go, can you bring me back some green wine? That sounds absolutely fascinating. We know our rosés, our reds, and our whites, but green wine. And here tonight, you're going to overnight dock in Porto Antigo. And then, of course, on day 6 in Lamego, this is the thing to see, is a sanctuary of Our Lady's Remedies, perched on top of a hill and overlooking the town, with ornamental steps and pathways cascading down the wooded hillside. Pilgrims famously climb up the steps of the sanctuary on their knees as gestures of humility, and a fact at which we marveled on the way down back in town. There are some excellent pastries shops where you can sit with a coffee and people watch as well. And here you'll also get a choice of your choices of classic, discovery, or active as well. And then in Piquico, we're going to have the Written in Stone. This is a day written in stone, really enjoying a relaxing cruise to Poquinco for a day in the Terra Quente region. And this is where you're going to discover Villanova de Foz Coya at the eastern terminal of the legendary Douro railway line. You're going to marvel at the amazing architectural site along the river Coa, where a wealth of remarkable rock paintings and carvings were. Before returning to the ship, you'll also get to enjoy a tasting the unique wine of the region here. Or you can take a classic excursion, really joining a guided tour of Frego and Numeo, a charming village nestled between the nearby mountains. Visit a local farm for delightful wine. Again, you know, every day you got to have some wine, a little taste of wine, where where sustainable farming practices have recovered some of the regions of over 100 original grapes varieties. That's absolutely amazing. And here we're going to overnight dock in Barca d'Alva. And then on day 8, this is where we're going to go into the gorgeous Salamanca. And without a doubt, a highlight of any Douro cruise, we're going to have a UNESCO World Heritage City. Salamanca was actually built from the golden sandstones that gives off a wonderfully warming glow. You'll be able to walk around the historic center, visiting again this 13th century university, the oldest in Spain. Columbus studied here. Every graduating student inscribes his or her name on the gold stone wall, so you'll get to go and see that. And you know, once in bull's blood, but today they just paint. Some of the signatures date back to hundreds of years. The library, contains so precious that they're protected by a glass screen, contains hundreds of books from the Renaissance period, the real joy through the simply walking the streets with views around every corner. Here today, we're going to go in painted tiles and passionate tunes during your morning sailing. A professional painter will guide you through the process of painting an azaleos, a traditional Portuguese tile. As I said, this is one of the excursions that you'll be able to take home, which is a piece of Portugal's tradition once you learn how to paint that Portuguese tile, and you'll be able to do that as well. And then also you may alternatively join an optional excursion to the 18th century Casa del Mateos, the birthplace of Mateos Rosé wine and the masterpiece of Baroque architecture. On day 10, Porto itself, the second largest city in Portugal, ravishing, beautiful, slightly crumbling, and best appreciated on a walking tour. The city's famous bridge, Dom Louis, is strongly reminiscent of the Eiffel Tower in Paris in its architecture, as you can see further back there. The designer really studied under the Eiffel Tower himself. And then, really what sets us apart, again, is being the youngest fleet on the water, Avalon Waterways. As I mentioned, we do not rebuild or refurbish our ships. We only build new ships. And that's the wonderful thing. Every day includes a city tour. All your meals are included every day. Wine and beer is included with lunch and dinner. And it's the Avalon choice as well, is that it allows you to have that choice. Everyone on this call today is, a different type of travel, has a different type of travel style. But again, we all want to see the sites, the same sites. So allows us to go on the same itinerary and have a completely different experience with those choices as well. So again, I really wanted to thank you for joining me today. I'll be happy to open some questions. But again, we will go through the day-by-day itinerary as well. And I will open it to Tina if you have that information.
Thank you, Hillary. That was amazing to see what we're going to be experiencing. Like I said, the Douro is definitely on my bucket list. I've sailed on the Rhine River, and I think this is actually a great experience for somebody who's potentially never done a river cruise, or maybe they've done the Rhine and the Danube and are looking for something a little bit different. So I think this is just a fantastic itinerary, and I'm extremely excited about it. I just wanted to mention, so I did book some group space that I'm going to be booking myself, and it's for the August 25th, 2024 sailing. And we have included the 3 nights in Lisbon and packaged it together. So it would be 7 nights on the cruise and the 3 nights in Lisbon sold together. Hillary just mentioned to me right before we started this webinar that there's actually certain sailings that are sold out. And that doesn't surprise me at all with this being such a great itinerary. The ship that was built for the Douro, or is being built for the Douro, and also too that it's just not a lot of capacity on these ships, so it's going to sell out quickly. So that's why we're doing this in 2022. And as Hillary mentioned, I would 100% agree. We are selling right now so many bucket list trips. Especially 2023 and 2024, people are just exhausted from staying at home or doing the Caribbean, and people are actually starting to think about, okay, where do I really want to go? And they're doing it, they're booking it. So I just want to put it out that if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourselves and feel free to ask.
Now, as Tina was mentioning, she does have a group space booked with us. But again, remember that out of that group space, there is 102 passengers. She's got a group booked already. We're saying that space is selling. So again, and she's got some great, I can just see, I'm kind of looking at the same thing of your group here, Tina, is you've got the fact that you've booked this out as a group right now, you've got great staterooms available on hold for anybody that's ready to book as well.
Questions?
Yeah, when you were talking about the excursions, so are all the excursions included in the trip, or some of the optional ones, are they over and above the cost of the trip?
So every day includes a city tour, and that's where you have your choice of excursions. Those are included, and there are some optionals. There are not many, because we do include as much as we can, but there are some that are not included. Yes, but again, we can get those for you. We can get a price on those for you as well, and we can get all that information. But again, there are not many.
Okay. Do you foresee any water level problems in the river? I know we've heard of some other people that went on river cruises and where they've had to disembark and go on a bus and be brought to another location because the water levels were low.
So that's why I was explaining in the very beginning, trying to give you a background of the Globus family of brands, is that we are very lucky because we are well, we're not one of, we are the only river cruise company that is part of a family with the coach touring. So if there were for a reason that there was low and high water, I've never heard that in Portugal, to be honest. I have heard it on the Danube and the Rhine in the past. However, saying that then as a company, while you're out on an excursion, first of all, let me just take 2 steps back. The great thing about Avalon Waterways as well is that, as I mentioned, we're the youngest fleet on the water, which allows us to be more modern contemporary design, that we try our hardest to get through the waters. That's number one. Not all ships can. On some of our ships, we can. And if that's not, if we're unable to do that, then option B comes in, that if we have a, and I'm just going to use Porto to Porto, but it doesn't, I haven't heard it on on Portugal. But for example, if we have a ship that is going one direction and then a ship coming the other direction, if they're at cross paths at the one port, then what will happen if you're in stateroom 311, then while you're off during your excursion, everybody will transfer everything to suite 311 on the other ship, and then you continue your itinerary. Okay, that's choice number 2. That's what it would be. Then if those are if we're unable to do those options, then option number 3 is that you can go on and we can make it a tour because we are the Globus family of brands. No other company can do that. Other companies would keep you on the ship or send you home, and then you've got to kind of go off. But no, we will, I was going to say the word complete, but we will finish the itinerary as a coach if need be. But I have not heard the water levels in Portugal.
Okay. Yeah, that's my biggest concern, because I know where river cruises tend to be so much like tend to be a little more expensive, and then to have to go on to a bus and go to a hotel instead is
and that's a great question. And I will tell you, in the past, I can't say it's going to happen in the future, but in the past, when we have had these situations, we've also reimbursed the clients that missed that portion of cruising as well. So you've now continued it as a tour, and then we've reimbursed you for the cruise. I can't guarantee that would happen again, but our number one priority has always been the health and safety of our passengers, and we want our passengers to be happy. So, I did a presentation just last week in Hamilton, Ontario, and I had a gentleman, he was on a river cruise, and he said it was absolutely amazing because that happened. The water level was so low they couldn't continue, that they continued it as a coach. They gave the money back that they missed, and then they gave them we gave them a 50% off the next cruise. So we absolutely will look after you, would not lose anything.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Hillary, maybe I missed it, but did you show a picture of, I believe there's panoramic suites on this?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, the ship is being built at the moment. I can just get into that again. The ship is being built at the moment, but I can give you the just an outline of what it would look like. Yeah, here we go.
So Avalon is famous for their panoramic suites. So do you have a picture of that to show everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I'll go
design.
into, yeah, not a problem. I will stop sharing so you can stop looking at my screen, and then I will actually show you. Yeah, not a problem at all.
So just imagine waking up to this every day.
Bear with me. If there are any questions in the meantime, I'll be happy to. Oh, so here's actually, I'm going to see if I can show you this. Now, again, this is our first time sailing under in Portugal. So I don't have any locks or anything with that at the moment, but I'm going to share my screen because I wanted to show you can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just trying to bear with me, get it into slide mode. So here we go. That's a lock. As I said, and the great innovative design about Avalon Waterways as well is that we are a 3.5 deck, where all other ships are 4 decks. What that means is that Avalon Waterways allows you, when you're going under the bridges, you have to remember that everything gets collapsed at the top, the captain's quarters, the canopies, everything. However, Avalon Waterways with that 3.5 deck allows us to be outside to go under those bridges during that half deck as well. So that's a picture of us going through the locks. And as I was saying, again, an aerial is that you have to remember when you have those balconies actually take away from your stateroom. So your stateroom is that much smaller. So what Avalon Waterways has done is push the walls out to have that 200 square foot stateroom, 11x7 open air balcony, and also enlarges our bathroom as well. So here's our staterooms right here.
Nice.
And
Feels like the whole room is a
it's
balcony.
the whole room, absolutely. And when I say it's an open air balcony, it's an open air balcony. It is fully open. There's no walls, there's no barriers. It is fully open. And again, remember when sitting on those balconies have to have walls. So when you're looking, you're now like looking out, right, past the wall. So again, we really made the 11 by open air balcony. So there you go.
Very nice.
Wow.
Again, complimentary movies. I think there's 100 movies in your staterooms, and the table actually goes up and down, so you can have it as a breakfast in the morning, or you can actually have it as in the evening if you'd like to stand and have a glass of wine or whatever you'd like. But again, you're more than welcome to do that. Here's our bathrooms, marble bathrooms, L'Occitane products. And it's a little things that as Avalon Waterways does, and every trip that you take with the Globus family of brands, we always ask you to fill out a form, and that form is, how can we improve ourselves? What can we do better? And I showed this picture once to during a presentation. A gentleman had said to me, it's amazing you had non-slip showers. That wasn't important to me, but that was something important to him. So again, it's a little things that Avalon Waterways does. His and her towels. Dr. Oz once said that you shouldn't share towels. So we have his and her towels as well, I like to say. As I mentioned, L'Occitane products. So again, really having the view is absolutely amazing. Just, right at your feet. As I said, not much to look at when you're staring at a wall. History happened by the waters, right? So I'm just trying to see, again, bicycles on board, our local hosts as well there as well. And again, also gives you the option of, would you like to do Nordic walking sticks, Fitbits, bicycle? It's all available for you at all times. And we spoke about the dining. And then as of January 2023, we will now be having complimentary happy hour during our port talk. So we're very excited about that as well. But we can absolutely go back to those staterooms. There you go.
Beautiful. Any other questions?
Will we be getting a copy of the itinerary after this?
I can absolutely do that. Sure.
Okay.
Do you have my email?
Yes, I do, Tina.
Okay.
Send you a message.
So the alcohol is complimentary during meals. So I then get the impression that it's for purchase the rest of the time.
Correct. But now saying that as well with Avalon Waterways is we do not stop you from bringing alcohol on board. And we want you to support the local wineries. That's why we have our ships in Europe. It's to help the communities, to help the small towns, and because we wouldn't be sailing if it weren't for their villages and their towns. So absolutely, we are 100% ask you to support the local wineries, the towns, the villages, and you can bring it on board. You know, it's funny because we used to always have one of our cruise directors, Nancy, always had a joke, is that, you know, all in the garbage, all the empty bottles were the alcohol bottles, but everyone took the L'Occitane products home. So, yeah, but again, we don't stop you from bringing, there is a surcharge in the dining room, and I believe it's 12 euros. But again, why would you have it in the dining room? But if you want to go up on the deck, have a pastry, at the same time, enjoying a glass of wine or anything, you're more than welcome to. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like Bailey's in your coffee, you know, you're more than welcome to do that. Absolutely. We don't stop you.
You know, and the beauty of sailing with me is I'll probably buy a few rounds for everybody.
And honestly, the alcohol is not expensive on board.
It's not expensive. We did a week on the Rhine, and I don't think there was ever a moment that we didn't have a glass of wine in our hands and we walked off with a $150 bill.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's very, very, very reasonable.
it's like water.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
Europe, it's not expensive.
No, it's not.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have. I don't know about anybody else.
Do you have an idea of the price? For a panel?
I will have to do up a quote based on the current sales. So
Right.
I did have a quote set up when I booked the group, but I'm not sure, Hillary, it's probably changed by now. So I can set up a quote tomorrow and send it out to anyone who's interested.
Okay, thank you.
And again, as Tina has mentioned, the start date is August the 25th until September the 4th, 2024.
No other questions?
Nope.
So it was August 25th to September 4th.
Yep.
Yes. That's correct.
I mean, there are other dates if that absolutely doesn't work. We can look at another date, but I won't be there. Not that that matters. There's
So
other
again, there's
questions.
complimentary Wi-Fi on board as well, the
Yeah.
panoramic windows. Again, you know, the covered observation lounge is available, the club lounge, which is open 24 hours for your complimentary cappuccinos, your lattes, your teas, your premium coffees we spoke about. There's an elevator on board. And again, just to note that there is a non-smoking interior and in staterooms, but on the back, if there are any smokers on the back, you can do that as well. Again, there's a fitness and a wellness center. There's bicycles. We spoke about the Nordic walking sticks. There's canoe and kayak extensions, binoculars, day backs, yoga mats. It's all available on board as well.
And that's all part of the cruise.
Absolutely, it is. Yes, it is.
Now it's a good
It's
part.
much more of an all-inclusive vacation than an ocean cruise is.
Okay. Can you just repeat the smoking portion? So essentially everything is non-smoking, right?
Correct. Correct. Except the back. Yeah, no, there's no smoking in the ship at all on any of our ships. Yeah, and then yeah, I'm just kind of also going through a little bit of you have complimentary room service, continental breakfast for room service, your daily lunches, as I mentioned, all your meals are included as well, afternoon tea, 4-course dinner, which is your soup, your salad, your main meal, and your dessert. Your main meal usually consists of a red meat, a chicken, a vegetarian, and a fish. If you want all, you can have all. I gained 8 pounds on my last itinerary that I was on. Complimentary wine and beer, soft drinks with lunch and dinner we spoke about as well. There's also, of course, there's vegetarian options if anyone's interested in that. And we spoke about new in 2023 as of January, we'll be having happy hour, which will be included our beer, our wine, cocktails, and of course the drink of the day as well.
Do they have vegan options?
They do. The only option that we don't do is halal and kosher. And the reason for that is you need separate kitchens. But other than that, if you're celiac, vegan, anything, please let Tina know. We'll add it to the file. But again, our maitre d's are absolutely amazing, because I've actually seen it in person that if there's an item on the menu and it's something, for example, you can eat, he'll or she will come up to you and say, okay, you can have this, this, and this. We'll just take this out for you. It's amazing how they just, it's incredible.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned, our staterooms are 200 square foot staterooms, and that's the one that Tina has on hold at the moment with us.
So one of the bonuses that we get for sailing as a group, and we do need 8 passengers, is we will get free prepaid gratuities. So we just need to get to that 8 passenger mark, and then everybody, even if they booked before we were at 8 passengers, will get those free gratuities.
Good point. Absolutely. And I think there was another promotion, if I'm not mistaken, with the 8 passengers. Once you get 8 passengers, isn't there, you'll save $1,300 off per couple as well?
Yeah, I could be.
Yeah.
It could be. I wasn't sure if that was something that was going to change or not with the sale, or anyways, I'll have to call Avalon tomorrow and get a fresh quote.
That sounds very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was so excited when I found out that they were sailing on the Douro. I actually have an Avalon cruise booked for next year, because I'm not waiting till 2024. I'm actually going to do the Taiwan, Cambodia, and Vietnam sailing.
Ooh.
One of my favorite itineraries.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
I've
maybe
done-
not for a first-time river cruiser, but maybe.
The great thing about Avalon Waterways, as I said, is about the small towns and country, the small towns and villages, is even on our Mekong ships, Avalon Waterways is all about giving back as well. And we go and visit a school with the Mekong itinerary, and you go down. It's just amazing. You see these children where, we've supported, we've given air conditioning, we've built a floor. It's just incredible. It's just an amazing experience. They're all wonderful. Even if we have on our Paris to Normandy's landings, which even if we have that itinerary, we have 1 Canadian board, we will take them to Juno Beach. So again, our number 1 priority is that the health and safety and the happiness of our passengers.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Such a different experience than ocean river cruise or ocean cruising. I mean, especially when there's only 100 something people on the ship, everybody knows everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's definitely a bucket list item.
I don't say the word bucket list anymore. I say wanderlist. We've been stuck in our homes way too long. Bucket list is almost like a final, right? I like to say our wanderlist. Where are we going next? We've been trapped too long that we're ready to explore now. I call it my wanderlist.
Yeah, it's a good way.
And the more you do, the longer the list gets.
Yes, exactly. I'll tell you. Yeah, my list is pretty big. My kids are still, Disney and Universal, but mine is much bigger than that one. But I know you'll have an absolutely amazing experience. You'll have a wonderful time.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And again, if there are any questions, Tina's here. She can always reach out to me. Whatever we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out to Tina or myself.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hillary. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us and show us what it's going to be like to sail down the Douro.
Oh, I'm very, very excited for all of you to travel. So I might even come with you. You never know.
Oh, that would be great. Great, thanks everybody. Contact me if you don't have my information. You can go to vacationsforcanadians.com. That's our website. Or my email is Tina, TEENA @vacationsforcanadians.com. Very simple. All right, cheers everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.